Hey guys, Marsing here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the physical Fasha that got her EZA today alongside the Inchili, who we will be taking a look at later on as well. Should be an interesting one. Now, the thing with this unit that stands out straight away is that she doesn't really have a team, like a super optimal team that gives her the full 200% leader skill. She is getting, because on Dokkan info, if you go to the 200 plus leader option, because of the new leader skill format where these new 220 leads are giving 200% HP and then 170 attack and defense, it shows those characters as 200% plus leads for these units. But if they're only on the 170 for attack and defense but getting 200% from HP, it will still show them, right? So you could run her on Tao's team because of mission execution, but she's not on Dragon Ball Seekers or Earthlings. She's on both the 10-year Fusions teams because they obviously both lead Pure Saiyans as one of their main leader skills. I think Roshi, does Roshi give her the full 200? I guess Tech Bardock probably does. You've got, yeah, Tech Bardock is storied figures and then Pure Saiyan, so he would give her 200%, but obviously Tech Bardock's team nowadays, we're not really going to be running that. Roshi does because he just gives a flat 200% to Peppy Gal, so I mean I could showcase her on Roshi's team, but she just doesn't really work on that team. And then I guess physical Turles does actually give her a 200, so her actual like legit 200% leaders are Tech Bardock, physical Turles, STR Roshi, physical Raditz, but she's like, those teams are either unusable or she just doesn't really work on those teams. So we are using her on the Tech Vegito team, so she's only going to get the 170 attack and defense and 200% to HP, but we're able to get her full passive active. We've got a bunch of supports and everything, so I think if we were going to use her in an event, until we get like a new Bardock or something, this is probably going to be one of the best bets for where we would use her. But then of course the problem is the Tech Vegito team can be so good, would you run her over other options? Probably not, but we'll see what she's going to be doing. So she has a low class warrior or Peppy Gal's leader skill for 150%, and then her super attack is greatly raise attack and defense 1 turn, supreme damage and a high chance to stun. So good super attack effect with the greatly raised for both stats. Then she has 200% attack and defense, 50% damage reduction, just straight up, which is good. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super, so a great chance at getting another greatly raised. For 5 turns from the entry turn, she has guard. And then starting from the 6th turn, she gets a guaranteed additional super and has a great chance to crit. So that other one, the additional with the great chance, is still present, so she can super 3 times from her passive, so 4 times in total with the hidden potential after, like, from turn 6 onwards. For each attack received, she gets attack and defense 40% up to 200, so 5 hits. And then when you've got 2 or more low-class warrior allies on the team, or 2 or more Peppy Gal's allies on the team, she gets an extra 40% attack and defense whenever guard is activated, up to 200%. So basically, in those first 5 turns when she has guard, you want to get her 5 hits, because then that's going to give her the full buff, which is 400% attack and defense once all is said and done. So obviously she is a Pure Saiyan character. She's got these like Team Bardock and Saiyan Pride links, but she's also Peppy Gal's character, so she's got Battlefield Diva, so her links are a little bit all over the place. We don't have the AGL Bardock here on the first turn, so we've only got Saiyan Warrior Race and Prepared for Battle. We have 165k defense start of turn, which is not particularly great, but I mean we have guard and 25% damage reduction. Her taking a slot 1 super is probably the worst case scenario, because obviously each hit she gets, she is going to be getting buffed, so of course she gets supered straight away. 200k. I should bring up the stats for this guy, the STR Dragon, and then what's that, 5.9 to start with. So let's go back to, where is the Shadow Dragon thing here? 6.3 on the additional. I mean, the greatly raised for defense is obviously really helpful, but yeah, her biggest issue is that she's one of these units that needs to get hit multiple times to build up. So, as we saw there, like her taking a big hit straight away as the first attack of the turn is not ideal. So, where are we? Shadow Dragons, Boss Rush. Yeah, see, this guy only supers, I say only, but you know, with the bosses that we have now, especially events that are hitting hard straight away, this guy only hits for 1.6 million. and she took like just over 200k, which is not ideal. Because any bosses hitting like, you know, any of those new stages from like the blue zones that are hitting super hard straight away, she's pretty much just getting one shot by those. Now obviously she has to take some hits first, so we did get 3 hits in on this first turn, so we've only got to get hit twice more for her to be fully built up, which is not too bad. So on the next turn we will float the AGL Bardock, because obviously he gives support and has hopefully some better links with her, because unfortunately her best link partners are all the other team Bardock members, which of course most of them not particularly great. We'll let you go in slot 1 so you can potentially dodge this, and then damn, I really was hoping at least 2 of those AGL orbs would drop down together so we could actually get the 18 key super for Bardock, but here's what it is. Daima Goku hopefully getting the dodge. There we go, so he doesn't get stunned or sealed. I forget which one this guy does. But that allows us to get the super attack off and therefore get the buff for units on the next turn. So we get that nice little extra buff for Fasha with the double super as well. Let's go. So it should be interesting to see what the start of second turn stats are for her after getting 3 hits on the first turn. Should take this guy out here. The thing with the Shadow Dragon boss rush is it's like a decent length event, and the last couple of bosses are a bit more difficult, right? Like a lot harder hitting, but the earlier stages are fairly easy, like fairly weak. Obviously this unit, like the Fasha, her biggest problem is probably going to be the fact that because you want her to be in slot 1 early, especially in like these kind of events, these bosses that are stunning or sealing in slot 1 are obviously going to kind of shut her down a little bit early on, but she's still going to get the buff from taking the hits, which I guess is the most important thing. So either way, we'll see how we go. Yeah, AGL Bardock not getting the 18 key super here is not ideal. Is what it is. I mean, I'm really hoping that we get a new Bardock release soon, because that'll be a 220 lead for this guy, be a 220 lead for Fasha. So she could potentially be a lot more useful, because there's a big difference between 170% to stats and then like double 220 instead, right? So let's see, we got Path to Power Kid Goku here. He's on the team as one of the other low class warrior options. So we start off the second turn at 561k. I mean, again, like that's not really all that crazy, especially like she's got guard, which is cool, and then 50% damage reduction, but like a 2 million damage super is still going to do well. Guard isn't a perfect cut in half thing, is it, right? Like 2 million damage minus 50% would be 1 million, and then if guard was half, like she would take double digit damage. This guy supers for 1.5, so she would actually tank his super for double digits. I mean, he is going to super in slot 1, I think he always does, but that's fine, right? She's going to get stunned or sealed, but that's the last 2 hits that she needs to take. So then we can at least see those buffs. And then giving her the extra damage reduction from Kid Goku, that bumps her up to having 58% damage reduction, so it's not bad. So yeah, she takes double digit damage, but unfortunately gets sealed. But now she is fully built up, so at the start of her next turn, we can see what her full built up defense is here on this team, which again, remember, is only a 170 team. So obviously it's not the craziest setup that we could have, but let's do this just so we can do this for slot 1 for you. Probably just going to end up getting stunned, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. Alright, so Oceanus with the super in slot 1 gets the stun as usual, and then Daima Goku being able to get the super off here, ready for the buff for next turn. And then we finally are going to have Bardock there with Fasha. In fact, the problem is these bosses that are stunning in slot 1 stop us from really seeing what she can do as a slot 1 unit. So I mean, if we could take out Oceanus in this one turn, that would be great, because the next guy doesn't have the stun or seal. But of course we didn't get any additionals. Goku's only getting his 12 key super. I mean, if he does like a triple super turn here, then maybe, but we might only need the double, to be fair. He did a lot more damage with that first one than I expected. Nice. Alright, perfect. So that lines us up nicely here now for the Fasha to... She's still got guard, because now that she has it for 5 turns. So we're at 1,000,000 defense start of turn. Okay, but as you can see, we're getting links like Team Bardock active now because of the Bardock, which is 10% defense. Saiyan Pride is a decent attack buff. So this is a much better turn for her than we would normally see. Yeah, we don't need to use that just yet for you. I mean, I could use the Gogeta fusion here as well, just to really add extra, but I kind of want to see what she's going to do just off of her own back here now that her passive is fully built up. So she's got 400% extra attack and defense compared to the start. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage she's doing here. This guy supers for 2.5, so she should tank this for double digits. Yep, nice. Does lower her attack though, which is annoying. 17 million. I mean, this is one of those things where in this meta, I know she's not a Dokkan Fest or anything, so we shouldn't be expecting like an insane EZA from her. But the thing is, like, if a unit's not going to be hitting crazy hard, if they're a slot 1 defensive unit like she is clearly designed to be, then that's fine. But the problem is, as a slot 1 defensive unit, I don't think she's really good enough for the current meta, right? Now again, this is her on a double 170 lead in terms of attack and defense, but none of the teams where she gets 200% or more are particularly relevant or are going to be great teams. Like, I mean, the Roshi team, Roshi's pretty outdated at this point already, but if you ran Roshi with like her and a bunch of other peppy gals, she would still get her full passive active. But again, that's only a 200% lead, so it's a slight jump up from a 170, but that's not going to then immediately put her in the realm of being able to tank like some of these big bosses early on. So yeah, it's I don't think she's terrible, but I think this is one of those units that has released at like an inopportune time for them, I guess. Like I say, with all the other stuff that's floating around, like the AGL Bardock not having a 220 lead, this EZA coming out, Tech Bardock isn't like super far off potentially getting an EZA. I think we really need to see like a new Bardock come to the game very soon that has a 220 lead that would incorporate some of these units. And then potentially she would have more of a chance, especially if, imagine if it was a base Bardock, or even if it was a transforming to Super Saiyan or whatever it is, but imagine if he gave Pure Saiyans or low class warriors or whatever it is, like support and damage reduction, kind of like the Super Saiyan 4 Goku does. Because especially if they made it for something like low class warriors, and then they did a bunch of things like the Team Bardock Great Ape EZAs and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people say that they are scared of making units too powerful because of Super Saiyan 4 Goku's support, because Power Beyond Super Saiyan is obviously such a busted category. Low class warriors, even with some EZAs, is not going to be that crazy that you have to give, like, that you have to like nerf the support that they're going to get, right? So this guy, like a new Bardock, could quite easily be a unit that gives damage reduction support to low class warriors, which would then not only be giving this Fasha a 200% leader skill, but obviously would make her much more viable as a slot 1 tank, because she's getting more than just the 50% damage reduction. Because you've got to remember, now we've still got 50% damage reduction, but we don't have guard anymore. So we've got 1,000,000 defense start of turn, we're greatly raising on super, we did get an additional super, so our defense is looking relatively good here now with 50% damage reduction, but we don't have guard. So getting hit with a super here is probably going to be, how much does this guy do? Double digits, nice. Okay, he supers for 2.6. So with the 50%, yeah, we tank that for double digit damage, that's good. So, you know, tanking the not quite so hard hitting supers for double digits is still very good. You know, it works for events like this, but you know, next phase we're looking at an int boss. We got type advantage in that case though, which is good. Next phase we're looking at an int boss that hits for 3.8, and then we jump up to Sin hitting for 6.6. So a unit that's designed to be a slot 1 tank, like 50% damage reduction and that's it, with just no guard, she's obviously got the raw stats that you have to make sure you build up early, because that's the other thing. You have the guard for the 5 turns. I think before her EZA, I think it was only 3, right? So it was like her first 2 appearances, you had to get those hits in. Now you get the 5 turns. But if for whatever reason you don't get those hits in, she then doesn't get those buffs. And then her guard runs out. So then if you haven't had the when guard is activated 5 times, like if you haven't done all 5 times, then you don't get those buffs, right? So let's float off you, because then we get the I want to get Gogeta on the rotation with her, so we can see the funny Gogeta buffs turn. But we'll do the Goku. Oh, it didn't crit. But I was going to say, we'll do the Goku thing here just for the fun. Then we'll do that. We'll do that. And then do this. So hopefully we should be able to finish him off here. Nova has a little bit more HP than some of the previous Shadow Dragons, but not a crazy amount. So after Kid Goku, or Daima Goku I should say, getting his attacks off, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish him off here with Vegeta. 24 mil, get the 18 key. It's not hitting that hard, I suppose. Getting a bit of a defense buff going here. I mean, Vegeta got a bunch of supers off, so... And then, of course, he dodges one of them. What's his dodge chances? Like 5%. Yeah, it's literally 5% chance to dodge. This man out here actually dodging our attacks. It's outrageous. 27k. I mean, I know Vegeta's not perfect and it doesn't get as much defense in slot 1, but like Fasha tanked the Nova Super better than the Rainbow Tech Vegeta here in slot 2. I know slot 2, like I say, slot 2 is not his ideal slot, but he dodged again. So the 5% chance and he dodged twice in the same turn. That's crazy. I wonder if that actually was the difference between killing him or not. It potentially was. Alright, so I mean, yeah, like 1 million star of turn is pretty good, but it would be good if it was factored in with some other defensive abilities as well. I'm going to get the Dokkan attack for Fasha. Let's go. So, still double digits from this? No, 134k.
Time to get serious.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Like, a unit that's essentially designed to be a slot 1 for the team, and we're fighting a boss that only does 2.6 million. Actually, no, he greatly raises attack. So actually, his thing is like 3.9, so almost 4 mil. So actually, that makes, to be fair, her tanking the first time around for that double digits is actually quite impressive. But, yeah, we're starting to take damage now from a super attack that is around 4 million. Which, like I say, doesn't bode super well for some of the actual harder hitting bosses. I'm not sure if you're actually okay in slot 1 here. I mean, I guess I could... As we just want to see the next turn, really, which is the Fasha Gogeta turn. And then I guess we could probably end it off there. I kind of just want to get out of this phase, so I might just do this. Because Vegeta will absolutely destroy Ice here, so... At least we would hope so. Unfortunately, unlike Gogeta, he doesn't have orb changing on his active skill, so no extra orbs drop down or anything, unfortunately. Do that. At least we get the 18 key super for the Goku at the end, but I mean, no one else is getting hit on the turn outside of Vegeta anyway, and of course all of his counters are guaranteed crits, so... Although actually I don't know if Ice is even attacking enough times that... I guess if I was going to use his active... Well, we want him to super first because it raises his attack. I don't know what the difference would be. Maybe I should have put Daima Goku in slot 1. And then his supers obviously buff Vegeta. But... it is what it is. I'll get the buff in the middle of the turn for the counter at the end, I guess. Is it 1 attack at the end or is there 2? just a 1. I mean, Vegito getting the triple super here. Actually, which one did I transform the friend one or my one? Mine's only 1 dupe. I should have done the friend one if I didn't. That would have been the smart thing to do. Oh no, I did do the friend one. Okay, so this is Rainbow Vegito. But yeah, I actually just don't think he's attacking enough times to get just countered to death by Vegito, unfortunately. Because yeah, the problem with this guy is he locks. So you watch on the next turn, like Fasha be locked in slot 2 and like Gogeta's locked in slot 1. So then Gogeta will just end up killing him. Should have bought Senzu Bean. Bardock being locked in slot 1 probably wouldn't be the worst thing because we could use his active skill. But then obviously we get dangerously close to just killing him before Fasha gets to do anything. Which yeah, of course, because Gogeta's active skill does big damage as well. Yeah, I think we're gonna get screwed out of the Fasha Gogeta active turn here because like Gogeta's active will come very close to killing him unless we get Bardock locked in slot 3, I guess is the best option. Okay, good. Because then we can do this. But obviously she doesn't have barely any of her links active now. Which is unfortunate. Because look at that difference. 894k. Compared to 1,065,000. So we've got almost 200k extra defense. Just from the links from Bardock. But obviously, like I say, if I do this. I mean, the Gogeta active skill probably just kills him anyway. So, I think, let's see. I mean, if I leave him there, he obviously doesn't have many links active with her. So, yeah, of course it does. Alright, well, we'll leave it there then for physical Fasha. I mean, she's okay, but as we saw, like, her peak on this kind of team with only the 170 lead is at just over 1 million defense, but that's with the links from Bardock, who, like, again, this team setup is not really a realistic, like, if I'm going to run the Tech Goku team to come into some of these more difficult events to be trying to go for the win, I'm probably not going to bring Fasha and AGL Bardock, right? So this is a unit that I think has some potential, but it completely relies on her getting, like, a new leader. Like, ideally it needs to be a Bardock, right? I mean, we've talked about the possibility. Imagine if the Tanabata, like, Dokkan Fest LR, we finally get Goku and Bardock, and they have a leader skill that would have all of the Bardock team units on, whether it be, like, Pure Saiyans combo or something like that. Otherwise, just a straight up new Dokkan Fest or Carnival Bardock that has a 220 for some of these characters would obviously be very good. But yeah, I feel like she's just kind of released at an awkward time where the best possible team for her just doesn't exist in the game yet. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think of the physical Fasha. Definitely not terrible, just feels like she doesn't really have a place at the moment. And unfortunately, if it takes too long for her to get a 220 lead, like guard for 5 turns and 50% damage reduction isn't going to be good enough for these toughest bosses. So realistically, not only does she need a new leader, but she needs that leader to also be like a support type unit. Like imagine if we get a new Bardock that's kind of like Glorio, right, where you just float them both off and they're giving tons of support, then maybe like Fasha could be good for that setup. But yeah, after 5 turns, like just having 50% damage reduction and then raw stats, even if like the highest we saw her was 1 million, even if it was 2 million with 50% damage reduction and no guard, as soon as these bosses get up to 4 million plus, which all of the hardest hitting bosses in the meta at the moment do, then she just gets cooked. So I don't know, I guess we could see potential future, like potential for the future if she gets a proper team, especially with some like extra damage reduction support or something maybe. But otherwise for now, not a unit that I think is going to see much use. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.